Hello everybody, this is Sarcoth and I'm going to be doing a tutorial video on how to update your dedicated server to the Starvation Mod Alpha 16.4 and then how to install the 72 slot backpack mod that I've created. Here's a quick summary of the steps that we will be performing. You will have to install the 7 Days to Die dedicated server. I won't go through that here in this video, but I will include a link in the description. Next, you will have to download the Starvation Mod zip file, unzip the files, and install them to the 7 Days to Die dedicated server folder. And finally, you will have to download my Backpack 72 Starvation Mod Alpha 16.4 zip file and install the needed files. I will be sure to include links to all the downloads needed for this in the description. So if you think you need something, check the description for it first and get them there. All right, so let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to know is that this is a reminder that all the links for everything you need to download or look up is in the description, so please make sure you check that out. The first step is to install your dedicated server 7 Days to Die. That you can just follow the instructions for. I'm not going to go through all the steps here because there's already a really good description on how to do that. I have the link in the description here. The next step is to, once you have that installed, here's your dedicated server. This is what it's going to look like. Make sure you start this up first. Make sure you can connect to it. Make sure everything is working. And this is all going to be overwritten anyway because when you install well, actually, we'll just go to the next step here. So that's the dedicated server. It's installed. We're next going to download the Starvation mod. So let's see. Go to the server. So I've already had it downloaded, but I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like as well. When you click on the link in the description for the Starvation mod, that will take you to GitHub. Here's the page for that. You're going to go to clone or download, click on the download and zip, and this would save it right here. I won't go through the actual downloading it again. Close that page, unzip it. I'll go through that step for you guys. So I'm going to go to extract, and I'll just tell it to yes to all. So it's just going to overwrite everything. And now it creates this folder, Starvation Server Master. It's got 3 folders in it: the 7 Days to Die server underscore data, the data, and the mods. The first 2 are already in here, but they're going to overwrite some files or add some files. And the mods folder is completely new. You don't have to copy over the README, but you can if you want. It just includes some information that really isn't needed for setting the server up or anything. So we're going to go ahead and copy, and then we'll paste the files in here. And then of course you want to do replace the file in the destination. And now you'll have everything you need for Starvation Mod server in here. Go into your server config, and let me bring that up real quick. So as you can see, this is the Starvation Mod test server. I've got the important things are I use random gen. I'm going to change the game name because I might already have one of those in here. Every time you create a new server, you want to change your seed. Your game name is pretty much your seed, so for that server. And if you keep the same one, it could cause corruption problems unless you clear out all your save data. So just keep that in mind. I don't mess with it, so I can't tell you how to clean it up. But I set a password on mine to make it private so only my friends can play it. And then I want to make sure that I set the control panel enabled to true. I set a password for that so that I can log in to make sure the server's up and running. And I'll show you that here in a minute too. I have other settings. You can go through all the settings. If you guys want me to do something that talks about all the different settings, let me know in the comments and I'll do another video on that as well. All right, so I'm going to save it. And let's make sure that's not the, I'm also going to have to copy this one over too. So let's go back to servers, server config, copy paste to dedicated, replace it. So now the dedicated server has my server config.xml file in it. And then we're going to jump up here, which is the dedicated server, and we're going to start it up. You do that by clicking on the start dedicated.bat file. You can press any key to continue. And once again, press any key to continue and we'll close it. And let's bring up the task manager. And now you can see we have, it's one of the background processes, usually right at the top, is the 7 days to die server.exe. This means the server is now starting up. We're going to jump over to, since this is a local server on this single box here, you can actually go to 127.0.0.1, go to the port that you have set for the control panel, or you can put in the IP address of your computer. And since I'm using a local one, I just put in this. This IP address will work for everybody for their local box. So you can do that for testing, even for going to the control panel whenever you want to. If you want to give the control panel IP address out to other people for multiplayer sake, you'll have to give them the actual IP address of your router and the port that you're using for port forwarding to your system. I'm not going to go into the port forwarding here because that's also covered in a dedicated server setup. All right, so this means that the server has started up. We're going to go ahead. I put in the password of test on here. We'll update the password here, and now we can watch everything as it starts up here. If there's any issues. No, it looks good. It looks like it's all started. Now, this means that it's running the Starvation mod, but not the 72 slot backpack mod. So what we're going to do is we'll minimize all these. And this is I actually have the single player version installed for 7 Days to Die. We'll let this start up and I'll be right back. All right, so now that it has started up, I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like when the server does not have the Starvation mod installed. So it's not installed yet. All right, so this is a fresh new server. And as you can see, this is the old size backpack, 32 slots, even though I'm using the 72 slot backpack on the single player version here. But you always take precedence of whatever the server is using. So even though the single player, I'm really not sure what would work with having a single player DLL file in here, but not having it on the server, what that would do, because you need a server one for it to work as well. So let's exit out. We want to close the game, and we also want to close the server as well. So we're going to shut down the server. So go to your task manager, right click on the server, do end task. This pretty much kills the server, and we're going to minimize that for now. And the next part is installing the 72 slot backpack mod. So we're going to go back to our server. Let's go to the dedicated because that's the one we need. We don't need that at the moment. And now we want to go to the downloaded files. If you go to the description, you can also download the backpack 72 slot Starvation Mod Alpha 16.4 zip file. Unpack this. We're going to extract it. Now we have the folder. Go in here. Now you notice there's two folders. There's one for dedicated server and there's one for single player. The single player is the one that your players can use, and the dedicated server is what you put on the server. So we just need these two folders. Just to give you a quick idea of what's in here. We have the assembly C#. This has been updated to allow 72 slots. We can also make adjustments to raise it even higher. And then the files that have been updated here are the loot XML and the xui.xml. The loot one allows you to change the slots for viewing purposes on how many you can fit in there, and the xui actually changes the size of it. So we're changing how big the whole box looks on your screen. So both of those are needed, and also the Windows.xml, which is also another one for allowing you to actually store the items. So we're going to go back to the dedicated server here. We're going to copy these two folders, and we're going to move them, and they're going to overwrite files over here on the server. So now we have the Starvation mod, and now also on top of it, the 72 slot backpack mod. So these should all work together, and we're going to go ahead and start the dedicated up again. As you can see, it's running its background process. All right, so it's finally has restarted. So we're going to go ahead and log back into the control panel. All right, it shows that it is up again, and it's now ready. As soon as you get to this, like the game server init is successful, that means it is ready for you to log in. So you can go ahead and log in by testing it. So we're going to start up the Starvation mod again, your local client. All right, now it's ready to log in. Go back here, log in, password is test. And we're in the game, and let's check out our backpack. Look at that, 72 slots. So that's 12 by 6 equals 72. And it is now, let's make sure that it's working. Let's go ahead and pick up a rock. Let's go loot this tree over here. Get some flies on us, of course. They still freak me out a little bit. All right, I want to get a few things so we can show you guys. So we can log out and everything. There's some wood. All right, here we go. All right, so pretty much with the normal, with 32 slots, it would go to 4, 6, 8. It would end here. So that's 24, and this would make 32. So it's 32. This would be like the last slot. So we want to put one here in front of it and one after it. And anything beyond that point would go away if we didn't have the assembly.dll installed correctly in the other files. So now we're going to log off real quick, and we're going to log back in so you guys can see that it's working. There you have it. The 72 slot backpack mod is working perfectly. So we now have everything working. One last thing to note to everybody is that even though I'm logging in with 127.0.0.1, you can do so if you have the dedicated server installed on your computer that you're logging in from. If you're logging in from another computer on your own network, you're going to have to put in the IP address of the computer you want to connect to. If you want to have friends log in from outside your router, then you're going to have to give them the IP address of your router, and you're going to have port forwarding set up correctly. Check out the instructions for that in the dedicated server setup for 7 Days to Die. There's a good link to that, and I believe they show you all the instructions on it. If you need me to go through a tutorial on any other things about 7 Days to Die, please let me know in the comments. Please hit the like button. And if you're not a subscriber, I would appreciate if you become one. All your support will help me in growing my channel and producing more videos. It gets me motivated to make the tutorials for you guys. I just need to know that you guys are enjoying it. And I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, everybody.